Chinese health authorities are still working to identify the virus behind a pneumonia outbreak in the central city of Wuhan.
Now, the number of people known to have tested positive for coronavirus in the United Kingdom has now reached 23.
The first American has died from the virus at the epicenter in the Chinese city of Wuhan.
There are confirmed cases in nearly 30 countries and more than 2,100 people dead.
The city at the center of the outbreak in China and 2 others going on lockdown.
The number of infections on the Diamond Princess cruise ship has doubled in a single day to 135.
The Chinese whistleblower doctor who told the world about the coronavirus in Wuhan has died.
The most active hotspot right now is Italy. Nearly 200 people there have died in just the last 24 hours.
The first death from coronavirus here in the United States. A man in his 50s dying from COVID-19 infection in Washington state.
And the CDC now advising all events with 50 or more people, we're talking things like weddings and everything in between, be canceled for the next 8 weeks.
Alabama and Missouri just joined 40 other states that are urging people to stay home.
Right now we're doing a lot of extended.
Hi, what's your name?
I'm Casey Ward, and this is a day I don't know. I mean, it's the first day that we're officially not allowed to leave, and it's an order. But I'd say it's 8 or 9 of quarantine. I'm a father, a husband, a musician, a lover. Our band all of our shows have been canceled, our band, and it's kind of getting a little bit. We've been finding ways to stream and do things and connect with people. So far I'm doing okay. I've had to kind of recreate a routine, which is kind of a non-routine. But I do read a lot, I listen to podcasts, sleep, eat, watch TV, trying to work out, but trying to go for walks. All in all though, we're real excited to see what this brings. Yeah.
You like to grocery shop.
I do like to grocery shop. I did hoard a little bit, probably. Maybe we should go get a little footage of that. What I gathered. Does that make us look like assholes?
No, you really like your cans. You've got a little squirrel in you.
I do love squirrels, and I do like to hide my nuts. I'm about to show you our can collection, but I just want you to know this is all we have of toilet paper. So we're not hoarding toilet paper. At least we're not hoarding that before I plead guilty to hoarding other things. I got some canned goods in here. Goes kind of far back there. I mean, that'd probably get us through a month if things got crazy. Got some food up here too. Stockpiling a little bit. Nothing too intense. Pretty good on the freezer too. Yeah, I might have went a little nuts.
Karen, what's wrong? What's wrong?
Are you recording this? I was just singing.
I know. Don't sing anything that's going to embarrass you. My name is Jeannie. I am a mother of 2 boys, 11 and 14. I am married, 39 years old. I am a nurse. Been a nurse for over 15 years. I spent 11 years in the NICU at Ohio State University, and after 11 years there, I went to Nationwide Children's Hospital, where I worked as the nurse clinician in the neuromuscular MDA and SMA clinic. And now I work for Quantum Health as a transplant nurse care coordinator. I have recently moved to working from home, which is a change. I was going into the office with kind of my team and working there with a group of people and all my resources, and now I have moved everything home, actually into my bedroom. But I have been reading all the different suggestions from working at home, and I have rearranged my desk space again. I must say I have 4 chairs that I rotate through. So we got one there, we got this one, and then that one's more of a placeholder. But I now have 2 screens. And I'm really excited about that because at work I have 3 screens. They're smaller than this, but 2 screens should make my life much easier.
Hi, my name is Mary Beth. So I live in Chandler, Arizona. I actually have 3 different jobs that I do. I'm a pastor at a small church in Arizona. I work at a preschool, and I am also currently working on my master's degree. So there's been a lot of adjustments to these different areas. The first thing is with my preschool shut down last week. All of us were sent home until further notice. We don't actually know when we're going to be able to open again. We're still getting paychecks in the meantime, but they're not full paychecks because we're a nonprofit organization. And so all of our income is dependent on donors, and it's dependent on parents paying the tuition for their kids to be in the school. My church has suspended services until further notice. Right now we're using a platform that's called Zoom. It's just an online platform really similar to Skype. And that's been helpful, at least. When my school shut down, there was anxiety, and I was sad about it, obviously, but when my church shut down, it just kind of made this entire situation feel really real. So being able to still gather together, being able to still see the people that I love, the people that I care about, the people that love and care about me, it really meant a lot this past Sunday to be able to get online and still have that meeting.
How you doing? Tom Cicchetti. Before the, I don't know how we're going to say it, the shutdown is what I like to refer to it as. I was a Dart League coordinator for a large coin-operated company here in town in Columbus. Basically, if you go to a bar, movie theater, restaurant, family fun center, the games that are in there, the jukebox, pool table, we operate those. We put them in the bars and the locations. My job, we have electronic dartboards throughout the entire, most 90% of the city and outside the city and throughout the whole state. I run and oversee the electronic dart leagues. I oversee probably up to 400 players every week. So as you can guess, my job was quite social. So being restricted to the house, being on furlough, for lack of a better term, laid off, I have no social contact outside of, Facebook or text messages or phone calls. It's kind of weird considering that I used to have to go out to the bars every night, every day, every week, and just physically interact with people and oversee what they're doing and communicate. And so it's kind of a shock. It's weird. It's kind of like, Burgess Meredith in the Twilight Zone. You're stuck with no one else in the world. Nothing to do. You got to find stuff to do to keep you from going crazy.
Hi, my name is Sarah Campbell, and I am a senior at Kenyon College. About a month ago at this point, I was home for spring break when we got notified that we were going to have an extended spring break and do classes online. And then about a week after that, we were told that we weren't coming back to campus. So I've been home for about a month now. I am taking classes online. I worked for an administrative office for Kenyon, so I'm able to do some work there remotely. But it's really weird to be back home now when I'm supposed to be enjoying my senior spring of college and finishing up that part of my life.
My name is Brendan Mcneil. I'm a 36-year-old man. in Columbus, Ohio. I have my family here, my wife and my 2 sons who are 11 and 3. I've worked from home for 2 years, so at this point, there's just more people in my office. Unfortunately, my office is my bedroom, but I'm used to that. Son is out of school for most likely the rest of the year. The 3-year-old is probably home indefinitely for a while from daycare. Wife works from home once or twice a week, so it's something we're used to. We've actually been working together off and on for the last 6 or 7 years. So us being in the same house or being in the same office isn't really that big of a deal to us. We deal with it just fine.
Hi, my name's Steve Cotton, and I work in IT for a retail company. You may have heard of stores like Lane Bryant and Maurice's, Justice for Girls. I help in the IT departments, helping run those stores. So far, during quarantine, we've been working from home. I'm one of the few remaining employees that's maintained their job. A lot of the others got either terminated, laid off, furloughed, you name it, lots and lots of cuts. But I was luckily retained to help run some of the operations there. But yeah, we went down from, we were 70 agents strong, working on various IT issues for stores, kind of like a help desk scenario, and now down to 6 with all the stores being closed. So yeah, that's going to be interesting, to say the least. It's going to be quite the ride, trying to manage the work of 70 people between 6 of us.
Hey, Andy Howe, here in Columbus, Ohio, 40-year-old family man, and I've got a wife and 2 children, one age 5, one age 7. I'm an entrepreneur, amongst other things, fitness enthusiast, perennial optimist, and work-wise, so far, I mean, I'm a realtor, and so like these kind of events, like if people can't go see houses, obviously my income is almost entirely dependent upon that. When all this was going down, one of my fears was, as a realtor and a landlord, we have rental properties, and we've been buying duplexes and living in one side, fixing them up, and going to the next place. And so I was concerned about, geez, are my tenants going to be able to pay rent? And what happens if they don't pay rent? What happens then? Well, then we lose all our properties probably. And then I thought, well, what happens if I don't sell another piece of real estate for the rest of the year? What happens then? And so I just really started, I mean, I appreciate challenges in life in general. And so I think this is a great opportunity for us all to change the way we live and hopefully focus more on family.
My name is Daniel Cudney. I am from Columbus, Ohio. Currently live in Brooklyn, New York, but currently in Columbus, Ohio. I am a freelance musician. I'm in town, honestly, because I was visiting my dad to surprise him for his 64th birthday. And the following day, the world shut down. And the day after that, I was out of work. I didn't have any jobs lined up. And, no gigs, no large gatherings of people. There's no shows, there's no work. My dad got sick. Ended up having a fever for about 5 days. They wouldn't let him get tested because they said he wasn't high risk, even though he is in the high risk age margin. Seeing as he might have it, and I don't know. The idea of going back home and possibly being locked on an island when the epidemic is happening They say it's like the epicenter of it. That seemed like a pretty bad idea to me. So I figured, staying home and staying near, family is probably the best idea.
Hey.
Hey.
What's up, man?
How's it going?
Pretty good. How about you?
I'm doing all right.
Do me a favor and turn your phone horizontal.
Yeah.
Much
better?
Yeah, much better. How you doing? How are you holding up through all of this?
I'm doing okay. I'm back home, at my dad's house. But like I've been able to like keep pretty busy. Like I have a guitar here. I have my skateboard here, so I've been skating out front, and I learned how to like use GarageBand, and I've just been making like stupid songs on my phone, and just whatever I can to make the time pass by. So yeah, I've been keeping busy.
All right, cool. So I think we're rolling in all three places. So to start with, I'll just have you say your name and just a little bit about yourself in like a couple of sentences.
Hi, I'm Sophia. I'm a senior at Centennial High School. I work in a child care center, and I'm a photographer at the zoo.
What has been like the biggest adjustment that you've had to make with shifting your work from in the classroom to online?
Staying focused, for sure, because there's so much distraction. Like, I'll have the TV on, I'll be doing work, and all of a sudden I'm watching a whole my 600-pound life episode, and that's like a 2-hour episode. And then I look down, I'm like, oh crap, I have to do all this work now. So definitely distractions, and I'm a very hands-on learner, not a read it and then do it learner. So it's been harder to not have that in classroom setting, which is funny because I wanted to be online schooled my whole life, and now I realize I do not want that.
There's been a lot of emotional ups and downs, I would say. Some days I'm feeling great, ready to go. I'm, going to sit down, I'm going to do my work. I have that sort of self-motivation to stay up to date with all of my classes and get work done for my office. And then other days I just want to lay in bed or watch Netflix or whatnot, which I'm sure is normal for a lot of people at this time. But it has definitely been an adjustment moving to online classes. I get to video call my professors once a week, twice a week, I guess, which is nice to actually have some face-to-face contact with them, because otherwise I feel so disconnected from school and everything.
So I heard that today they canceled prom and graduation and all of that. It's actually canceled, not postponed?
Prom is completely canceled. No prom at all. First it was supposed to be May 8th. Then they rescheduled it to May 22nd. And then they're like, okay, no prom. Never mind. They said no normal graduation. So we can pretty much forget about, going to the convention center, walking the stage, having family. Forget that. They said most likely we're going to have a virtual graduation where they just say our name and that's it. And then they're like, if you want to get your caps and gowns, when we get them, you'll most likely just drive through and pick it up, and you're probably just going to get your diploma that way too.
Yeah, that must be tough.
It was really irritating.
Hey there, everybody. This is day 9 or 10, I think, of the quarantine. And just woke up. It's around 10 o'clock. I'm about to go out and get groceries here, so I'll take you guys on that journey with me. It's probably the only time I'm going to be leaving the house today. Yeah. So, as of right now, we're trying to keep like a pretty good positive vibe around here, try and keep a lot of humor flowing. That's how we've just always been when we deal with anything. It's just a good way to keep yourself in good spirits and, makes you not take things too seriously, or It's just how we are. It's a survival technique. But I'm not going to say we aren't scared. I mean, there's really weird things going on. Like we're starting to know people that have died or that have it, coronavirus, and it's just slowly creeping in. You can see it coming slowly, and the country's response to it has been really mixed. Some states are doing a great job. I think Ohio's doing a great job, and you can definitely see the numbers here are less than places like Michigan or even Florida. I see Florida's becoming really bad. New York's not doing great. So I give credit to our Governor DeWine for that. I don't think the president knows what the hell he's doing, and that's scary. Things are already bad enough with this happening, but just having someone driving the boat that's, in my opinion, just insane. Like, all he's concerned with is the financial aspect of it. He's already talking about sending people back. And if that becomes a thing where, like, my kid's supposed to go back to school in, like, a week, then that's going to be a problem. I'm going to fight that for sure. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, let's go get some groceries. To get prepared to go out, I have my plastic gloves. I don't have a mask, not an actual one, so I use the scarf. Go like that. But for the purpose of talking to you guys, I'll keep the scarf down, of course. Seems to be a nice day out, actually. The last few days have been pretty dreary, which don't help towards the depression or, anxious thoughts. Yeah, so the only times I really ever have to leave are for grocery or laundry, because we do not have our own washer and dryer, unfortunately. So I go down to the Clintonville Coin Laundry, and it's a nice place I found. The other laundry we used to do was also a bar, and so it closed up. Yeah, so I also have to go to work, which I'm starting my new job at Giant Eagle Marketplace on tomorrow night. I'm doing third shift, so we'll check that out, see how that goes tomorrow. Yeah, so the streets of Columbus are still relatively busy for this time of day, or any time of day when there's an ordinance to stay inside. I imagine, I don't know what to say to that. No judgment, but it's a little nerve-wracking, you know what I mean? Grocery store looks, pretty mild. Nothing crazy going on here. Seems like they're stocking up pretty good here. It's not too bad. I heard vitamin C is good for this, so I've been getting a lot of orange juice for the kid. It's one of the first things I'm gonna get. This is where the gloves come in handy.
$3.99.
And that was going to the grocery store, so nothing too exciting, but that's part of the routine. Yeah, gonna head home now and see what I can do to entertain myself.
Governor DeWine just issued out a new stay-at-home order. A bunch of stores are going to be limiting their customer count, I guess, about how many people are going to be allowed in a store. And stores that are capable of doing so, they are going curbside only. I just got to the pharmacy and had to go to their back door and text them that I was there, and that was a bit of an unreal experience. Text them that I was there, text them my car, my date of birth, and then they brought out the prescription to me. I just went to Ace to pick up a house need, and they were doing the same thing, just have people roaming the parking lots getting orders from individuals. So it's definitely surreal. It's a definitely surreal experience to have to go to the store and everything's basically assuming drive-through rules and stuff like that. So yeah, definitely interesting.
But deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever and ever. Amen. This is the body of Christ, the bread of heaven.
Body of Christ, the bread of heaven. Amen. And the blood of Christ, the cup of salvation.
Amen. So during all this, the way I stay busy is by cleaning stuff and trying to declutter this house. If you look, this is a lot better than it was. It was horrible. Got the pinball, that's keeping me a little busy. I got another one in the garage I'm going to bring in and tear it apart, and that should give me 3 days of something to do. But yeah, this whole room was just full of like buried a bunch of storage in it. So spent 3 days cleaning that out. After getting the garage cleaned out. So probably work to the bedroom next. But so yeah, just gotta do, keep busy. It's hard, it's boring, but makes the days go by quick. So
this is a nice peaceful area I like to walk called I call it Squirrel Haven. And yeah, it's not a lot of people back here, so don't have to worry about the whole social distancing thing. But yeah, take a look around, it's pretty nice. Beautiful, calm, serene. Nature's always been a nice place to center myself or yourself or ourselves. And right now it's really helping calm the nerves. Just get in tune with some of the sounds, not the sirens. Though I guess that can be relaxing in its own way too.
So it's Jeannie. It is Sunday, April 5th. The reason I know so offhand that it's April 5th, it's because it's my dad's birthday, and we are doing a Zoom birthday later today with all of the grandchildren and the children that live in 2 different states. But right now I am very badly giving my dog a haircut. So all the groomers are closed, and if there's any groomer that ever were to see this, I completely will be leaving bigger tips. I think I do a nice job with the tipping, but I will definitely be improving. I don't have clippers, and he actually was kind of worried about the clippers, so I'm just using some scissors. We've done this in 2 stages now. We're doing it outside because when I did it inside, we made a big mess.
So all I do all day is sit inside and do homework or watch TV or something. So the most exciting part of my day is actually getting to go outside and get the mail. Let's see. Not much today. Doesn't look too interesting. Earlier this week, we had 3 packages come on the same day. That was a big deal.
So, since January 1st, I've been training for the Cap City Half Marathon. Pretty religiously, too. I got a training schedule and everything. Been following the Ohio Health training schedule. I had myself worked up to 9 miles and was doing my run. It was the day of the shutdown, and I hurt my knee pretty bad. It was like real bad. I could barely walk on it. I don't know what I did, and considering with what was going on, I couldn't go to the hospital, couldn't go to the doctor. I didn't want to use up any valuable resources because I had a knee injury. So I've been resting it for 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. So today I'm gonna try and work it out.
Well, yeah, but it's gonna go with, but it's, yep. That's right. But all these, so these are all the kind of the pieces that.
Being that we are musicians and entertainers, we do podcasts and talk shows and burlesque and all kinds of stuff around the community, or did before all this went down. We started doing some streaming shows, and one of them my wife and son came up with was the Corona Kids Hour. And they're doing it right now, so I'm just kind of... I play Dr. Sprinkle Bottoms. That's my character here. But I'm going to just go down and film them a little bit and show you what we do. You know, we get some good viewers on there, and it's fun. Keeps the demons out of the head, let me tell you.
That's the second thing on our list here. Ooh. I've got questions and everything. All right.
Oh.
Don't look. Oh. You can't look. This is an interview, sir. All right. Oh, Colleen.
Hi, Colleen.
Go ahead and wave. All right. Okay. Winston?
Yes.
What is your happiest memory?
My happiest memory is always being with you and having fun with you on Roblox.
On Roblox? What's the best time you've ever had with us on Roblox?
So as you can see around these parts, in the Ward household, we try to use creativity to get through the strife that's going on. And I've kind of always done that in my life, to be honest. It's how I got through high school, my parents' divorce, the Bush administration. But yeah, it's always been kind of an escapism thing. You know, if I can focus on a creative project, be it a painting, a cartoon, a song, videos, a skit, whatever, it just kind of makes the time go by a little more effortlessly. Of course, like we keep bringing up, there's always the looming fear that everyone's feeling. My wife does have a little bit of a chest tightness and a cough, but we think she has a mild form of whatever's going around, be it the flu, typical cough, allergies, or, you know, coronavirus. We don't know. She's not getting tested, not calling the hotline because it's not that bad yet. It doesn't have a fever.
You know what really sucks is in a matter of one morning, afternoon, I lost my hobby of playing darts. My job has to do with the bars being open. And this new passion I have for running that I picked up in the last couple of years hurt my knee that morning, so I couldn't run anymore. And I was going to have all this time off to go running, and I couldn't do it because it was hurting. So this virus is attacking people in so many ways. Mentally, physically, health-wise, financially, socially. I mean, and people are acting like it's no big deal. Even including me, sometimes I act like it's no big deal. Hey, check it out. There's a swan. Just out of the blue. Never seen that on the trail before. Maybe it's hope. You can see it.
So to beautify up our house, since it's becoming beautiful outside, more sirens.
Sirens all the time.
All the time. We are buying more plants whenever we can, whenever we see them. So I am planting some hydrangeas. They can be indoor or outdoor plants. We also have a lot of succulents in the house we can show you. And we ordered some plants from Winston's school, lots of them, all outdoor plants, and I'm wondering if we're gonna get them.
Okay. Next.
All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Grandpa. Happy birthday to you.
One of the ways that I've always found solace and peace and comfort is through studying and through composing just sermons. Through writing in general, really, and through reading in general, but especially when it comes to sermons, to studying scripture and just trying to find some sort of a message of hope to be able to communicate. So I composed this sermon for our class. It's on Psalm 146.
So Psalm 146 starts and ends with the words, "Praise the Lord."
And in light of all the fear and uncertainty and unknowns that we're facing today, it's understandable that we might question how it is that we can stand to read or pray a psalm in such a time as this. It seems that there are much more appropriate, much more fitting psalms out there. For example, Psalm 13, which is a lament in which...
And after I preached it to the class, I went ahead and I actually uploaded a video of it that I pre-recorded onto my own Facebook page in the hopes of maybe helping some other people just find some hope and some solace in this difficult time as well.
I wish this was over. I'm done with it. I saw kids riding their bike on the path with masks on. Shouldn't be that way. Kids aren't supposed to be worried about protecting themselves from diseases. They should be out having fun.
I would say that today has been a pretty normal quarantine day for me. I got up, had some coffee, did homework. I attended an online class. Instead of having voice lessons, which is what I took at Kenyon, my voice teacher has been teaching us vocal anatomy. And we listened to some recordings of Adele, which was fun. After class, I worked. My office is working on coming up with a way for professors to keep in contact with their students outside of just the normal school-related things. It's really important to maintain those connections you have with professors. I know I've had several conversations with my professors since this started that haven't been school-related at all. I had dinner with my family, and now I'm up in my room, probably doing my favorite thing to do during quarantine. I am writing letters to my teammates. I'll show you. So I'm writing letters. One of my teammates sent me a tic-tac-toe board to send back to her so we can play. She's in Pennsylvania, so across state lines. It's really nice to be connected in some way. I'm also watching Star Trek, which has been my newest find during quarantine. My parents think I'm a total nerd for it, which I probably am, but it's keeping me interested. And then finally, I just started this book, came very highly recommended by a bunch of my friends, and it just, maybe a year or two ago, it came out as an Amazon Prime show, I think, so I might start binging that after I finish reading it.
I feel like I've been hearing a lot more sirens lately all the time. It could just be paranoia, but, I'm not sure. Along with what's been going on in the world, I've, been a little concerned with where things could head, as some people are, and I've heard a lot of people have been doing this, and I'm a liberal that joined the club to where I bought a gun today. Yeah, I bought it legally, don't worry, but here it is, real gun. Bought it to protect my family in case shit goes down. That's kind of how it is. So, yeah, never thought I'd do that. But we really don't know what's going to happen week to week, Right now we have our luxuries, we have the internet, we have the food, we have the grocery, we have people working, healthcare, but I've heard stories about Italy and different places where things are starting to collapse. So I want to at least be able to protect my family, and that's how it is. So I just thought I'd share that with you.
Thank you for calling the Ohio Department of Job and Family Services, Office of Unemployment Operations. To continue in English, press 1. Para continuar en...
So yesterday was kind of a rough day. I just was not feeling work and really anything. I feel my just general anxiety over everything that's going on, just kind of getting crazy and out of control. So today I've made a big point of getting outside. So even before I got started today, I took a walk with the dog. Here's the dog. This is our second walk, and hopefully that will help my overall mood.
Even with all the facts and updates we get, it still feels like we don't know everything. And the fact that both of our sons have asthma worries me. It's messing up my sleep a bit. But the good part in that is that I'm a gamer, kinda, sorta. So I can just sit and play video games till the middle of the night and be fine. Just go to sleep eventually. Kind of video game my worries away.
If you are calling to report fraud, press 8. For all other unemployment questions, press 9. To repeat these options, if you need to file a new or reopen an existing unemployment claim, press 1. If you have already filed an application and wish to claim a prior week for potential payment, press 2. If you are a claimant or an employer responding to
I'm an introvert, and so I love my time at home. I love my time with a good book, and I need solitude to be able to recharge. But at the same time, there's also been a lot of loneliness that has been kicking in because I don't have the option of inviting people into our home. I love to have people over. I love to cook dinner for them and just spend some time with our family and our friends. And we don't have that option right now.
My grandmother is in the nursing home right now in hospice, and she's 93 years old. My grandfather's 94 years old. They've had an amazing life. My grandpa cannot go see my grandma right now, and it is absolutely devastating to him. He's so lonely. He's worried about her. He was for a while taking newspapers and raspberries to her every day. He can't do that now. So fortunately, against, I guess, administration orders, some of the nurses and stuff had promised our family that they're going to be sure that Grandpa can get in to see Grandma. And that's man, I love people. I feel like not all rules are worth following just because they're rules. I mean, that being one example, what really is the risk of having my grandpa go in and just hold my grandma's hand one more time?
State of Ohio and the Ohio Health Department and the Ohio Nurses Association basically wanting us to fill out a survey. And the survey was, are you working in a hospital system right now? Yes or no? Would you be willing to help if the need arose for people to come and help at the hospitals? What is your experience? Would you be able to work in an ICU? What training would you want before you participated? Do you have experience with vents? My experience is NICU, postpartum, antepartum. You could not put me in an emergency room with adults and me be able to function. You certainly couldn't put me in an ICU, but you could put me somewhere and I could do something. I think that's what's really having just so many conflicting thoughts and feelings on it. I'm getting these emails asking for help, and you're seeing that, states are asking for help, particularly New York, and there's people going. And when you go into nursing, when you go into anything in the medical field, you go in because you want to help people. You want to do good. You want to help people. If I was a new nurse, I didn't have a husband, I didn't have a family, I probably would go to New York. But what they're asking medical people, doctors and nurses and respiratory therapists and everyone in the hospital to do is put their lives on the line, and that's not something that we really signed up for. The medical staff, they're dying too. And they're being put places where you can't guarantee that they have the right equipment to do their jobs and to do what they need to do. And I don't know if I'm willing to risk myself and my family. I want to be able to do something to help. I just don't know what that is.
What are some of the biggest challenges that you've faced so far?
I think my biggest challenge right now is like blocking out the media, or not blocking it out, but not getting obsessed with social media and watching the news. I've done pretty good this week. I'm starting to get a routine, but I think last night was maybe the first time, really this morning, because I have a third shift job, so this morning was kind of the first time I kind of had trouble sleeping, and I'm not exactly sure what it was. It was just like I just felt like anxious, but not necessarily. I've had panic attacks, but it was more like I don't know, just like had a weird energy that I couldn't get myself to turn over into sleep, Yeah.
It's been hard not to see, my family, my husband's family. We're really trying to do as much virtual stuff as possible, but we normally would have seen my parents multiple times, and we're not seeing that. And just really getting the kids to understand and be okay with that seems like that's a good amount of our time and effort.
Yeah. The first real emotional setback I had with everything was whenever I'm watching people that I manage get let go. They're all contractors for where I work, and I'm lucky enough to be hired on as a full-time employee, and they're keeping, all of us, but people that I've developed relationships with and have managed, have, coached and tried to be a mentor to people that, that are, it's a close-knit family where I work. Watching them all get let go and all of this has been very, very negative.
I think just, time management has continued to be a struggle for us. I mean, we're not homeschoolers. And so and by nature, we're not like strict schedule people anyway. And so I think just meeting the expectations of what the school wants, and my daughter, isn't used to it. So trying to say, hey, we got to read from this time to this time, that's been extremely difficult.
It's definitely been challenging to keep up with my schoolwork. Already as a second semester senior, you're ready to go, and don't want to be doing tedious assignments anymore. And now I have, 20-page papers due for the end of the semester and readings to do every week. And why should I, sit down and read a book I'm not interested in, or could be doing something more enjoyable? I don't want to totally slam my professors, but
living in New York and then coming back here for, what you thought was just going to be like a visit, and it's turned into like an extended stay. Like what's been like the biggest challenge with that?
I think for me, like one of the biggest things has been, I'm so used to constantly being on the move. And so with everything just stopping, I'm used to walking like miles every day, and now I'm like out in the suburbs of Reynoldsburg, Ohio, like by a farm, and like it's there's like maybe 4 blocks of sidewalk and then just highway. So it's kind of it's weird just being inside like this. It's kind of a shock, just sort of coming. I feel like I'm at a very stagnant, a big halt. Like it just sort of everything like stopped at once, but I'm sure I'm not the only one who feels that way.
Staying at home and not being able to have that social, that's the only thing that distracts me from my anxiety, is actually talking to someone. But since I don't have that, it's just me and my dad. Like, I love my dad. He's my best friend, don't get me wrong. But we have gotten into so many fights just because we see each other every single day. So it's like, he's not really, when I talk to him, it's not the same anymore, like with my anxiety and stuff. So my anxiety's been getting a lot worse. And like I have anxiety attacks and stuff. But then it's like, I realize it's because of everything happening and all that. Like I had a virtual med check this morning with my doctor because I couldn't go into the office. So that was weird. But yeah, it's not helping at all with anxiety.
You mentioned that both of your sons have asthma. And I'm curious what adjustments you and your family have had to make in order to keep them safe.
They have asthma and they have allergies, so every cough you have to stare at them like something just happened. And honestly, the boys have not left the house more than twice in the last month. And we do walks, obviously, a few times a day, and then they got the backyard to play in, but really they haven't gone anywhere. And I feel terrible about that. But anything to keep this away from them. And I'm the gopher in my family, so I shop for this house and shop for my mother's house, and she's in a wheelchair. My little brother's autistic, so when I go shopping, I go for 2 houses. And so I got to come home, take off stuff, spray stuff down, just hoping I'm not bringing it home to those dudes, man. That's the scary part. Just don't give it to them.
So they just had the news on, and they did a story how there's a little funny little clip about how the movie Demolition Man is like predicting the future. No physical contact, no toilet paper, air high fives, what isn't good for you is deemed unnecessary. I'm just curious if that's the way we're heading. That's gonna be kind of weird. I don't want to have no more social contact or just have to stay away from everybody. We went to the store yesterday. We went to Lowe's and Target to pick up some supplies, and they got everything marked off on the floor where you got to stand. Everybody has to stand 6 feet apart. Stay here. Wait. The aisles are marked one way. You can't go a certain direction. God, I really don't want to go to that. It's just not. It's not normal. It's not right. I know it's precaution, but do we really want to get to that point? It's just, I don't know, that's kind of... I like hugging people. I like high five. I like shaking hands. I like, just not being scared. I don't want to live the rest of our lives being scared.
I feel like a lot of my videos have been fairly cheery so far, trying to find the best of the situation, but that's not always possible. Some days you just feel more down than others, and today's definitely been one of those days. Looking outside, it just started raining again, so the weather's been pretty crappy. No sun. Haven't really been able to exercise much. I don't really have the motivation. I was an athlete at school. I was a swimmer, and working out, getting in the water, lifting. I would play racquetball with my friends. That was like a very good way to keep me motivated and energetic, get the blood flowing, release some serotonin, but it's really hard to motivate myself to do that now, especially when I'm by myself. I'm supposed to be finishing my honors thesis right now. I'm working on it, but it's hard. It's hard to stay motivated and do the things you need to do, and sometimes you just want to lie on the couch all day and do nothing, and fortunately today has been one of those days. Not all of quarantine is productive and cheery. Sometimes it's a little more like this.
I still think there's some uncertainty as far as, where we are in our timeline here, but as this continues to progress, like what fears do you have?
I have big time fears right now about economic depression. Just this week we hit 18 million unemployed, and that's over a 3-week stretch. I mean, to give some perspective, again, during the Great Recession, I guess we're calling it, in 2009, we only had 9% unemployment. And that happened over a couple of years, really. But this time we are 18% unemployment in 3 weeks. And it's pretty remarkable, especially considering the Great Depression. The 30s had a high of 24% unemployment. So when you think of that, it's pretty incredible. I mean, this has happened so fast that I don't think we've seen the effects yet. I mean, I have a belief that I'm maybe overly optimistic. I'm just optimistic in general, but I have a belief that the worst of the virus is behind us, and but I think that the worst of the effects from this whole quarantine thing are still to come.
Both of my parents work in healthcare, so I am very worried about my parents getting exposed. And we've, kind of talked about what happens if one of them does. Where do they go to quarantine? Do we quarantine in the house? Do we all just kind of accept it that we're all going to get it? Or do they, do we get a hotel? Like, how do we deal with that? So even though things have been going very well for us so far, I'm definitely still nervous about like my parents coming in contact with it.
I've heard some things like, the virus could mutate. My son getting it is horrifying. There's stories saying some people are getting it again in China and all that. And so just, and this is a mild virus compared to what, the bird flu has a 60% death rate. So it's like that any of these things could happen at any time. I guess I just wasn't aware. I knew on some level, but I just wasn't aware how fragile we are.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Yeah.
I think that this is worse than we think it is. The prediction of 200 to 300,000 people is kind of scary.
Yeah.
Regardless if it is 2 or 3% of the population, that's a lot of people. And that scares the living hell out of me because we're nowhere near getting this figured out. And I honestly don't mind if they just fessed up and said, hey, this is going to July. Instead of telling me, oh, another 30 days. Oh, another 30 days. Just tell me, if we got to do this, let's do it and let's start it now. And the really scary part is the unknown, because it can get everybody. I mean, think about how scary this would be if it was airborne.
Yeah.
We're all cooked. We're all cooked. This is airborne.
My fears are that nothing's going to be normal, really. Again, like I was just talking to someone, my old babysitter, and like how she has a girl 1 year younger than me. And she was talking about how she's worried that her daughter's not going to have a senior year at all because they're not going to go back to school. So it's just stuff like that. Like, are we going to grow up where my kids won't be able to go to school for full time? Or like, we're not going to be able to go just shopping for just fun, like just the little stuff like that. That is nothing's going to be like normal. Like how my mom always told me after 9/11, you can't just go into an airport. You have to go through all these steps. It's not normal anymore.
What are your fears?
That this lingers for a really long time, or that more restrictions go into place. Not that I wouldn't support them, but if you think about it, there's probably a lot more that can be done to slow the spread. But then that's just that much more of an impact. So that's definitely a fear. It lingering.
My fears is that it's going to continue on. I mean, at first, when it first started, I was like, okay, it's going to be a month. And then I was like, it's going to be 2 months. And then they make a broadcast that something positive happened. Okay, maybe it's only going to be a month. But then the other day they said no more school for the rest of the year. And you're like, okay, maybe this is going to be to the end of the year. It's just, my fear is like nobody knows when this is going to end for sure. So.
This is my job right here. Spraying down grocery stores, trying to help them out a little bit, you know, get rid of some of that virus.
Normally this parking lot is just overflowing and it's next to impossible to be able to find a spot, and it's just next to empty at the moment.
What positives have you seen or have you experienced throughout this whole process?
Yeah, I one of the best things I think is just people getting outside. I mean, I have never seen so many people walking on the streets. Yeah. I mean, our neighbors, we sit out on our front porch usually and have coffee every morning, so we kind of see what the people are doing, who's doing what, whether they're running or walking or whatnot. I've seen more people that I've never seen go on a walk, out walking. I mean, out running. So I hope people continue to do that.
Looks like the air is clearing up all across the planet. Good for that, right?
Yeah, right.
Kept us off the road for a bit. Everything cleared up a bit.
It seems like people are really, because they don't have a choice, just investing in things that make them happy. You have to be creative to not be bored right now. And it's like, obviously there's a lot of people who are just watching Netflix and eating Funyuns, but there's also a lot of people who are just making art, or people who, I have a friend who is like taking free business classes that Harvard is putting online right now. And there are just so many different ways they can be productive.
And that's a really good point. And a lot of those things that people are doing are things that maybe you have been putting off, or maybe you wouldn't have otherwise done at all.
Yeah, absolutely. And for instance, I've taken an online drawing class right now. Never been able to draw my entire life. I want to be able to do it.
I've learned how to put up a backsplash in our kitchen. I am not handy in any way, shape, or form, but I've been accumulating little tools here and there, and just one home improvement project after the other has definitely strengthened my game in that area.
So my husband has been working from home starting this week. He's an occupational therapist, and he's been doing telecommunications therapy sessions. So obviously, while it'd be great for him to be able to be in person with them and it'd be great to be back to normal, the really, really cool thing about it is just that I've never actually gotten to hear him or see him do a therapy session before. And as I've just been sitting out here in the living room and just reading a book that I have for school, I just can't help but overhear him every now and then, and just hear the way that he is with the kids, and just hear how excited he gets for them when they do the little things. And it's just been really, really cool. I already knew he was a good occupational therapist, but it's cool to see just how great of one he really is. So that's definitely a positive from this whole experience, because I don't think I ever would have gotten to witness that outside of him having to work from home. One of the things that I have enjoyed, I guess, is we really are having breakfast, lunch, and dinner together as a family, which is, we're having more quality time as a family, and trying to find those moments where we're, our family of four is creating some memories. And I am enjoying we're all cooking together. We're taking our time cooking, because normally it would be come home, get it done, someone's got something, and
shoveling it. If we eat together once a week, it's usually good. But now we're doing it 3 times a day. So I'm really trying to relish in those moments.
Something that's been really nice and that I think I took for granted a lot, for sure, when I was in high school is my family being able to like sit down and have a meal together every night. And we help each other. Like we all help to prepare, to cook. It's usually involves music and bad singing and dancing and very little cooking. But that has been fun, and that's been, you know, as I'm like getting ready to move out like for the rest of my life, that's nice to have.
You know, a lot of us are ships passing in the night with our partners. We see each other for a little bit, but it's running back and forth for the kids and for work and stuff, and you get to hang out with your significant other a little bit longer than your kids. And while it is rough, it's cool. We all like each other for the most part, and it's fun to reconnect that way. And imagine the amount of really in shape dogs that there will be in about 6 months. The amount of walks that are like, man, there's no fat dogs. There'll be fat people, but there'll be no fat dogs.
I get to spend more time with my family. Last year at this time, I felt like we weren't getting enough time together, and with him being at school and her and I having schedules, and plus, you know, we'd be working a lot and just kind of tired. It felt like our night times were just going by in a flash.
And also, it's people just hanging out with their families, you know. Yeah. People don't ever, you know, and I'm definitely guilty of this, and, you know, people don't really take the time to just, like, slow down from life and just, like, go home.
What do you think we're going to look like on the other side of this?
So I'm in a seminar right now that is called Health, Identity, and Inequality. And so obviously it's kind of the perfect time to talk about these big societal issues surrounding health and inequalities. And we're just now like starting to see on the news that this is disproportionately affecting lower income neighborhoods or, you know, minority and people of color. And I think the fact that we're finally starting to talk about that may be a step in the right direction for addressing some of these broader issues. I'm a sociology major, so I'm always thinking in ways like this and thinking about the number of politicians who are starting to call for universal health care. You know, I don't know if it'll be 100% there when we get out of it, but I do think that this is going to spark a lot of conversation about how we take care of ourselves and how health care has been commodified. And so that's like the academic side of me thinks about that a lot.
Hopefully the world, I mean, not just the country, but the world is educated on how to prevent something like this from happening again. Be better prepared for it. I mean, maybe if we were more prepared, we wouldn't be sitting here right now having this interview.
Yeah, that's a good point.
This is going to come to an end. This is going to pass. It might get worse before it gets better. It might pass slowly and difficultly, but it's going to pass. And there's beauty in that. And there is hope in that. We don't know how long it's going to be until it passes. But in the meantime, what I'm finding hope in is just the little things that I can look forward to. My first time going back to a coffee shop. My first time going back to church. And just all these different things. And they're beautiful dreams that I get to have that I wish I knew when they were happening. But I know that they are going to happen even if I don't know when.
What are you most looking forward to when we're on the other side of all of this?
I'm kind of looking forward to having something to look forward to be honest. You know, like a vacation or a trip. You know, we love just like going to a hotel. Sometimes we'll just take a little staycation at a local hotel that has a hot tub just because we want to get out of the house and we can't really do that. Man, I like just on a Sunday going to a mall if it's not too busy. Restaurants, parks.
I want to get my driver's license. I was so ready to get my driver's license. Like I was going to get it right when I turned 18. Because I was waiting till I was 18 so I didn't have to take classes. So then I was like a week before I turned 18, they closed all the B&Bs. And I was so mad.
Literally just hugging my friends. That's it. I just want to like just hug people, and maybe that'll be kind of gross for a little bit, and maybe it'll take a while even after we can go see people. But I don't know. I miss being able to interact with people. I miss New York. I miss being able to watch the city move, because there's so many moving parts, and it's like its own weird organism with all these different little things happening.
I'm excited for my graduation, in whatever way, shape, or form it happens. I really hope I get to go back up to campus to be with my class. Some of the people I feel that I haven't really gotten to say goodbye and thank you to are a lot of my professors and my coaches. They've obviously really shaped who I am over the last 4 years. And so just an opportunity, I feel like now I have to take every moment to tell people how thankful I am for them and to thank them for what they've done for me.
What's the first thing you're going to do when the world opens back up?
Probably cry. Just cry in relief, just thank God it's over.